Hey y'all, my name's Seth Packan, and this is Podunk Perspective, a podcast based on the Podunk Perspective. Podunk Perspective! Man, do I got a treat for you today. My man Nolan, the mastermind, the other half of the half to this podcast. Dude, thank you for coming on, man.
I am excited to be on this side.
Usually Nolan's behind the camera.
Yeah, usually I'm watching all of these back and editing them and cutting them up, so it's going to be fun editing my own episode for sure.
Do you hate listening to your own voice? I hate doing that shit.
I don't know. I don't think I've done it enough to know like if I hate it or not.
Yeah, like maybe, I don't know. I guess I kind of got used to it now, but like that's kind of one of my pet peeves. Like when I first started this, I was like, my voice sucks. Like, well, like talking and shit, like I hate it.
Well, it's like you never think about what your voice sounds like.
Right.
And then you hear like, wait, that's how I sound?
Yeah.
Like this is what people listen to?
No, right. It's wild. So you're a photographer in town and stuff.
Yes.
Obviously you do multiple different things, work with multiple different people. What made you even move to Nashville? What were you doing before you moved here or lived here?
Yeah. So I grew up in South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina. Born in Atlanta, but grew up in the redneck part of Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah. Where were you living? What was your?
It was a town called Piedmont, South Carolina.
Okay, yeah.
And so it was small town. We did all the country shit. Had the truck tailgates by the fire and the 4-wheelers and the fishing and hunting and all that stuff. So it was fun. I love that, and I love South Carolina, and South Carolina will always be home. But moving to Nashville was kind of like a huge point for me. I was a wedding photographer back in South Carolina, so I did weddings for 10 years.
Awesome.
Had a wedding business, kind of built up my name as a wedding photographer, established a business, created this reputation of a certain style, and I was like this dark and moody wedding photographer, and I did like the alternative stuff. I did the poses that weren't the super smiley poses.
Right.
Like I did an engagement session where the couple was naked.
Kind of like almost like you. I feel like that is cool, but like also I feel like you kind of do stuff that like brings old school, like old school pictures to new school, right?
Yeah, and so and it's kind of blending an old vintage look,
right,
as far as like editing style, to like new modern alternative, almost like pushing the limits of like style of photography. Yeah. And so literally, I would have like one of my photo shoots was with a couple, and we put in a air mattress in my parents' pasture, and I told them to just like make out on the air mattress, and they were naked, and they had blanket, they're like covered, but they had a bottle of Jim Beam and they were pouring into each other's mouth. Like it was great. Yeah. And like that's the stuff I wanted to do. I wanted to do stuff that like if you saw it scrolling on Instagram, like, whoa, that's new, that's different. I've never seen that, Right. And so, and I love doing that. And so I kind of built up a reputation as doing that. I had, a couple that, like, she was in lingerie and he was, like, naked and she was, like, taking a hose and, like, spraying his face. Like, that was cool. Like, just stuff like that where it's just, like, so different. And
Did you have any, like, crazy couples or weddings you were at? Like, you've been to that you were shot and you're like, damn. Yeah. This is a wild group of people.
Yeah. I mean, every wedding. And those are the weddings like I like to be a part of too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like my wedding clients that I like to attract are the ones that like to have a good time. Because I also like to have a good time. Right. Which is the reason I did weddings, is because, I want to party. Yeah. So why not get paid to take pictures of people partying and I get to party too? Mm-hmm. And one of my things too is like, especially like with groomsmen, or like the bridal party, I'm like, all right, whoever, is the first person to bring me a beer, they get, extra graces. I'll make sure you guys look extra good in my camera, It's like just stuff like that where it's just fun to shoot the shit with people and like have a good time. Yeah. And so, I loved that. As that progressed, I kind of, eventually started meeting more people and kind of like, bigger clients. And so September of 23, I shot the wedding of Hardy's guitarist.
Damn.
And so Rhett Smith is his name. He, at one point, we were kind of tight and we've kind of, drifted apart now. But like, obviously he's really busy. And so, so kind of, met him and met Hardy and his whole camp, and Tanner Gallagher is Hardy's photographer. Mm-hmm. And so it was really at like the end of the night, like receptions, full blast. The DJ, they had a live band, it's pumping, people are dancing, people are drunk, and me and Tanner, like I've kind of like gotten all my pictures that I needed. Like I'm snapping around, but everything else is pretty much covered. Yeah. And I'm kind of talking with Tanner, and we're talking shop, shooting the shit about photography. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, I'm kind of like tired of the wedding stuff. Like I've been doing it for 10 years. I love it, but I'm feeling the itch to do more.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew like Tanner was, Hardy's tour photographer and he's getting all these insane shots.
Oh, you knew.
Yeah. And that was the time when he was doing like the video recaps and they were just fucking insane.
Yeah. I remember like, especially when Hardy came onto the scene and Tanner started working with him or whatever, that was my first thing of like seeing stuff on social media. I was like, damn, whoever his guy is, they're doing cool stuff. Yeah. The editing process, just, it was different than what everyone else was doing, especially when Tanner does a great job of incorporating Hardy's like rock side into his content, right? With the editing and the lighting and the mockingbirds or whatever it is, It's
so basically what Tanner was doing for Hardy, like you said, it was just so different and new and fresh. I was doing with weddings.
Yes.
And so in a way, like me and Tanner were doing the same thing, just different industries.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit, like that's cool. Like we kind of kicked it and got along and like we're talking about that and how we try to be like alternative and fresh and new and exciting with the stuff that we make and how we are creatives. And so eventually, we kind of, kept talking for a few minutes and I was like, yeah, I'm just kind of tired of it. I just need to switch up. I was also going through, other relationship stuff, that, other personal stuff that we don't have to get into. But this was kind of the catalyst for me moving to Nashville because Tanner was like, dude, just fuck it, move to Nashville. Yeah. I was like, fuck it. Okay, I will. And so that was in September of 23. I finished out, I had like, however 8 to 10 weddings left of that year, and I actually had nothing booked for the following year, which is weird for me because usually people book weddings a year in advance, and the fact that I didn't have anything booked, I was like, well, maybe this is a sign. And so I was like, fuck it. I finished out my weddings in December, and in January of 24 I moved. Awesome. And so I've been in Nashville for like a year and a half now, and I absolutely love it, and it's been great, and it's been fun to meet other creatives, meet artists, make friends with people, and just kind of like still do the same thing, but in a different, area, different industry.
Do you remember what your like first gig or first shoot looked like in Nashville?
I do. Yeah. There's a girl named Lexi Sitters. Shout out Lexi, one of the homies. And there's like, the Facebook Yep page. You're in it. Yeah. And so I just put it on there. I was like, hey, I'm a photographer new to Nashville, just trying to meet people, shoot, do whatever. And, she reached out to me and said, hey, like, I need some stuff done. I love your work. Because, I had a portfolio.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so she's like, I love your work, and let's work together. And so we met up at, like, a studio, and she just needed some content, fresh pictures. And so, we did a shoot. And that's when I started learning how the creative, like, side of Nashville works.
Yes.
Because there's so many aspects of, like, music photography, right? You have, like, the editorial side that does, like, they stay in Nashville. They do the music videos or like the promotional shoots, the editorial stuff. They do the album cover, the art design and stuff like that. And so that's kind of like what I've been doing, or mostly what I was doing when I first moved here. And then you have the touring side, which is a completely different monster, which I've learned. But and so like my style and like the technical stuff that I was doing, it kind of fit more into like the editorial side. Which I loved. It was cool. And again, like, it's just cool meeting people and seeing how the industry works and seeing that side of it. Moving to Nashville for me as a creative, like, I got to kind of see behind the curtain of the music industry. And it's not all as glamorous as you think it is.
Nope, it's not.
But it's been really cool and really fun.
That's awesome. I'm going to go backwards here a little bit.
Yeah.
What made you pick up a camera?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I was like, 12, 13, 14 years old, and my mom had just a simple like Canon point and shoot digital camera, nothing special. And I kind of just like picked it up and started playing with it. I have 2 younger siblings, and so I started taking pictures of them. Yeah. And I kind of just fell in love with the idea of like capturing a moment, capturing a scene, and like capturing emotion was like the big thing for me. So like I could, tell my little brother to like, all right, look sad, like look serious. Yeah. And I'll take a picture of him in like his cowboy hat, and it would be the shittiest picture, ever. Yeah. But it was just like cool because it was like I direct, like it was that directorial.
You had
side.
ideas, you just didn't have the equipment.
I had a vision, and I wanted to see this come to life, and I directed him to do it, and we got a picture out of it. Yeah. So that whole idea of like, okay, what looks cool? What do I like to see visually? And then that progressed, and so eventually I stopped using my mom's little Canon point and shoot, and I asked for a DSLR for, you know, Christmas or my birthday or whatever it was. I got the Canon Rebel T3i.
Yeah, oh my God.
Way
dude,
back in the day.
I remember, dude, literally, I was in high school because I did video production or in high school and stuff, and it was either the DSLR or that Rebel, you know, I was trying to get. And never ended up getting it, but, you know, I was like, those were the two cameras I was stuck on.
Yeah. And so, I got that camera, and it just kind of like, you know, skyrocketed from there, and it turned into me taking photos of my friends and my girlfriend at the time, and like just doing a lot of just like portraiture work. You know, that's what drew me. The fact that I could tell someone to like look serious or look happy or sad or laugh or cry, you know, like, and that kind of directorial and like editorial stuff. That's really kind of like where my passion grew with photography. Yeah,
but it's also just a skill, right? You know, if the family's hanging out, you guys are having a party and stuff, it's like, it's moments you're documenting, and like, you know, you don't really think about it, but you know, the other day I was sitting in bed, I was like, you know, we have all these social medias, and like our grandparents have, you know, Facebook now or whatever it is, and it's like when they go on or like pass on, like this kind of gonna stay and be like their record,
right?
You know, which is kind of cool.
Kinda something I learned with weddings too is like, you know, you start shooting weddings, and then all of a sudden you're on Facebook and you see, you know, unfortunately, someone's grandpa passed away, and the photo that they're using at the memorial is your picture. It's like, wow, that's when it's like that impact starts to really set in. It's like, oh wow, I'm capturing not just a wedding here. I'm capturing memories and like pictures of people that matter to these people.
Well, you know, that's the really cool part is like, there's two things in life that people just, you know, love and like just don't really think about, but pictures and music, right?
Right.
Are the two things that control everyone's emotions. Everyone's.
And my dad, you know, like my dad is also creative. He was a designer and a painter all my life. And so, and he always told me like, you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Right. And so you can take something and everyone can interpret it differently. No matter what it is. And so, and and like, I also grew a love for photography, looking at like old National Geographic photos and like wildlife photography has always been so cool to me. There's a famous National Geographic photo of, it was taken like, you know, third world Africa. And like this little African baby, like starving to death, is being hunted by like a hawk. And so there's this picture of like a hawk, like vultures swooping down this baby. And the whole reason it's famous is because like you don't know the outcome. Like everyone kind of makes up their own outcome of that photo. Like nobody knows if maybe someone swooped the bird away and the baby lived, or
that's wild.
Whatever happened, you know? Like, and so that's the cool thing about photography too, is like you're capturing a moment that is just a small part of a story. And in a way, like people can make that story up.
Literally.
And so it's just, it's so, I don't know, photography is just so cool.
No, it truly is. I mean, like, even like I enjoy, you know, when I'm back home or whatever, and I'm at my grandparents' house and they got all the black and white photos hanging up. So I'm like, damn, you know, like what were they thinking then? Or like, what were they doing then, you know? But it's like, that's kind of the mystery that's great about photography.
And see, and I like, you know, our buddy Nathan Wilson out there, we just did, you know, you were there, we did a shoot with him, and like, you know, his grandpa has these old like vintage cars that are beautiful, and like, we were doing like a very stylistic shoot.
He had a story for every car. Literally.
And they're all just like in pristine shape. And there was a moment during that shoot where I started thinking about like that vintage, you know, nostalgic appeal to those pictures that our grandparents have. Like back then, you had a film camera and you took one shot and you didn't really know what it looked like. You didn't plan it out.
You just hopefully it looked good. Hopefully it was centered.
This looks cool. I'm gonna take a picture, and you're not really, you know, there's nothing else besides that thought. And I had this vision with Nathan on that shoot. I was like, you know what, like the vibe that he was going for a very like vintage, like old school vibe. For his song "Old Feelings," little plug for Nathan. But he wanted this look, and I was like, you know what, like how do I bring that? How do I make it real? And so I told him, I was like, hey, just like walk around the car. And I just kind of like, and I pretended, I was like, okay, like I'm, you know, I'm a grandma that's just raising a picture up for a camera. I just one shot, and I didn't even look at the photo until we got back to editing. Nathan came over and we edited it together, and I was like, imagine this shot as just like a shot that you would see posted in your grandpa's garage. And that's what we went for, and he loved it, and like it turned out really great.
Well, and like on top of that, like it's more like obviously like what you're doing with that, you know, in the picture telling goes so much into the artistry side of it, of like, hey, this is Nathan's life. This is like his grandpa's cars, right? Like this is like we're not renting, you know, $1,000, you know, car for a day just to shoot something fake. This is his life. This is a story he lived, you know.
Right.
His grandpa sat in that same seat that he's using for his music video, you know, and not many artists can say that in this time that they actually do that.
It creates such a special like opportunity,
right?
Like like you said, like that. Not many people can do that.
Yeah,
and so the fact that we could actually, you know, get that content, get the photos and the videos, including his, you know, his grandpa's car,
right?
Nathan will have that forever,
right?
And he'll be able to hold on to that for even like it's, you know, it's on Spotify,
right?
Like the cover photo that you see, the car in the cover photo that you see for that song is his grandpa's car, and that'll be there forever, and that's just cool. Like it's a cool thing.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, yeah, like I'm jealous. Like if I was an artist, I'd be doing the same shit. You know,
for sure.
Like I mean, as much as you can incorporate, you know, your circle and the people around you into your career, I think it's so cool. You know, like especially. Like we take it for granted sometimes. I feel like living here in Nashville, we get numb or we get used to it. But like we basically live in like the LA of like the 90s or whatever, you know, whatever they say.
It's the LA of the South.
Right.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what, you know, going back to like kind of Tanner and like Tanner and Hardy are best friends.
Right.
And the reason that they can produce such amazing content together is because they have that trust.
Right.
Tanner has that access into Hardy's life. He can, you know, be up on stage with Hardy and like do all these cool things.
But essentially, you have to be especially if you're working with an artist or something like that, you essentially have to be part of their life. Like,
you do, yeah.
You have to be in it, you know. Like,
and when I moved to Nashville, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
And like I knew like I wasn't trying to be in Tanner's shoes.
Right.
I didn't want to go out with someone that was huge.
Yeah.
Like that would have been cool. Don't get me wrong.
Just take a little bit of what he does and then apply yourself.
Exactly.
To it,
and
know?
like I wanted to develop a relationship with a smaller, younger artist and like really get like I wanted to work with my friends,
right?
Just like Tanner and Hardy,
yeah.
And so like the fact that I found Nathan, like we're best buds now, and like Connor McCutcheon, like all these guys that we just kind of have this small knit group, like it's just so cool, and like that's what I want to do. I want to work with my friends,
right? Because
then you can tell like the photos and the videos are just so much better, because you have that connection.
Obviously, too, it's a little bit easier. Like when you're editing the videos and you're listening to the song for the 100th time, at least you like the song,
right? Yeah. Oh yeah, I've worked with some artists. I'm like, fuck, I can't stand this song. I don't want to listen to this.
Dude, yeah, I can imagine just on a repeat. Boom, 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 boom.
Every time. It sucks.
So you had a few other jobs before, you know, really getting into photography and stuff. You were in the Marines, correct?
Marine Corps, yeah.
Yeah. How was that? Tell us a little.
It was fun. I mean, I wanted to join the military because, like, growing up in high school and stuff, like, I was very just quiet. I was shy. I was like a friendly person. Like I didn't have I had no ops or whatever, but I wasn't like the cool kid, you know, I was just very quiet and shy. I had no confidence. And I tried college out, realized it wasn't a thing, you know, my thing. I hated it. I knew that I always wanted to kind of like do something creative. That was kind of my path. But I needed something to kind of test me and to build my confidence. And I had kind of always, you know, dreamed of being in the military. I grew up playing, Call of Duty and the SOCOM, like Navy SEALs game, dude. Like I was like, I want to be that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when I was 20 years old, I tried college for a couple of years, hated it, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm just gonna join. Like I've always wanted to. I just need to do it. I just need to see this side out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I joined the Marine Corps because I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it balls to the wall. I'm gonna do it all the way, and I want the best training out there. I was in Marine Corps infantry. Lived in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina for a little bit.
It's not too far from home.
Yeah, it wasn't far from home at all. And then eventually, like I got dropped down to reserves, and so my unit was in South Carolina actually, and so I was in a light armored reconnaissance unit, and that was sick. We did a lot of cool training. Never got deployed to anywhere super important, but it was fun. It was cool. Got to see a little bit, and so. Yeah, I mean, it was just that was something that I needed to build my confidence and like just say that I did. Yeah, it was a test, and
it's very funny because obviously we always had the guys that they'd come in our school, in high school, the pull-up bar or whatever during lunch and stuff like that, and it's like not that it like scared me by any means or whatever, but it was just kind of like always deterred me, like that was kind of like you know, it's just like you have to be like tough as fuck and insane to go do that shit.
It's a mental test.
Yeah,
that's what I've learned. Like especially with the Marine Corps, like they literally break you down. To like nothing. Yeah, so they can build you back up and like give you the confidence that you need. Like I remember one of my drill instructors was like, which I had like a very serious girlfriend at the time. Yeah. And you know they're just like you're already in like a weak mental state. And then a drill instructor is screaming in your face that your best friend's fucking your girlfriend. And you're like, oh, fuck. And you're just like, you can't do anything about it. And so you just like go run and do push-ups and like pull-ups and stuff. And so it's like, And so like, but you know, going through that, it definitely builds you up. And so it's just like, there's something like, because I went through that, I've gone through so many other things in life that are not related to the military at all. Yeah, it made it just a little bit easier. Right. It's like, oh, well, I've actually been in worse mental state than this. Yeah. And so I can actually, you know, I'll be okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, looking back, I mean, and I mean, it's not like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, looking back, I wish, like, I feel like at the end of my life, I'm going to wish I kind of experienced that, like, doing something with, you know, the military or, you know, the Marines or whatever it is, you know, but at the same time, it's like, just live your life. It's a blessing that you got what you got, you know. But,
and that's something to do. Like everyone has their own path, and like, you know, my brother was also in the military, and like we were the first ones in our family to join the military. Yeah, and so that was kind of cool. And it's just like something that I felt like I needed to do, and not everyone feels that way, and that's fine, you know.
Well, and that's where like I kind of feel like now that like, and it's not that I didn't feel. I mean, I guess I didn't feel the guilt when I was in high school, but like now. Like I said, I kind of wish I did. I kind of wish I, you know, went to the, you know, Marines and did stuff like that. Right, just you know, and like, I know that's weird to say, but like, I love this country. You know, I would love to serve for this country. That's
and that was my thing too. Like, you know, this country is, I mean, obviously, you know, we've got our problems and everything, just like everyone else, but this country has so much potential and it is great in its ways. And so,
you couldn't do this podcast in most countries.
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of other countries, you can't say, like, even the fact, you know, some people are like, oh, you know, I'm going to leave it vague, but like, oh, I don't like our political state right now. Right. That would put you in jail in other countries. Right. So the fact that we can say that, like, it, you know, freedom is a beautiful thing.
The freedom of debate.
Yeah. Right. It's beautiful. And it's like, and that was part of me joining too. Is like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to protect that freedom. Right. The fact that, you know, people can do, you know, whatever they want for the most part is something that should be protected. Yeah. And so that was kind of, you know, back in the day, why I joined the military, and also, you know, again, like just personal reasons. Like I just needed to be tested. I needed the confidence. Right. And so, but yeah, like the patriotism is definitely there for sure too. Yeah. And it's like, well, and you know, obviously our country is very torn right now. And so it's almost like it makes me sad for our country. Like I want to make things better, of course. Right. And so to me, serving was a way of doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. When did you get out of it?
I was in from 2014 to 2018. Okay. Yeah. And then as soon as I got out, I moved to Thailand. What? So I lived in Thailand for a little under a year, but I tell people a year.
Have you seen that White Lotus shit on Netflix?
I haven't seen that season. Yeah. But that's a crazy show.
Bro, crazy show.
It's a crazy show.
But yeah, it was like the season or whatever was based out of Thailand, and honestly, someone told me to go watch it, and I started watching. I was like, "What the hell is this shit?" Whatever, and I was like. And then I would watch an episode. I'd be like, "Okay, this is good." And then the next one, I'd be like, "Oh, that's too much." Like, and then the next one would be like, "Oh, this is good." You know, like the back and forth of like, you know, this is like borderline fucking nuts for television, but also at the same time, like, it's real.
It's real, and it's like it's just super creative. Yeah, like the fact that people can like create that is insane, and like that's going back to like being creative, like watching stuff like that. It almost like, all right, how can I always watch stuff that's like popping off in like the media or pop culture or whatever. Yeah. Okay, how can I apply that to what I do? Yeah. And so, again, like doing things that kind of pushes that envelope and pushes the limits, and like it's almost like making like with White Lotus, like should I be watching this? Like, is this okay?
Right, exactly.
When I take like spicy engagement photos of like couples, naked on an air mattress, I want people to feel that kind of conflict. I want people to be like should I be looking at this? Like,
I like it, but I shouldn't.
Right. Like, am I interrupting something? Like, the fact that it's posted on Instagram, is that okay? And actually, like, a couple of my posts have been taken down because there was naked people in them. But it's like, you can't see anything, but still. Yeah.
Well, so Thailand. Yeah. Tell us more about that. What was that experience like?
Yeah. I was just at a point where I needed to, just got out of the military. I was just kind of like, just needed to do something different and switch it up. And I am half Thai. And so my Thai grandma had like just passed away. And I was at a point where, like, I don't really know much about my heritage and like my culture and Thai culture at least. And so I knew I had family there that I had never met. I had aunts, uncles, and cousins and all that. And so I didn't really have anything else going on in my life. So I was like, fuck it. I just booked a one-way ticket. I saved up some money. Like working as a bartender. And then I bought a one-way ticket there, and it was just like, it was a life-changing experience. Yeah. It's kind of something like a once-in-a-lifetime thing where like I'm never really going to have that like freedom or flexibility to do it again.
Did you just go there and kind of immerse yourself in the culture and,
Yeah. When I went to Thailand, it was very much like I didn't want to go as like a tourist. Yeah. I wanted to go, like I had arranged to go live with my cousin. Yeah. He owned like a car shop. He still owns a like car shop. Mm-hmm. So he would like, buy cars from auctions, fix them up really nice, and then resell them. And so I detailed cars for like 9 months.
Thailand, that's so sick.
In Bangkok, Thailand. So and that was the thing too. Like at the time, like I couldn't really speak Thai. Yeah, and they didn't really speak English. So my dad had to like translate while he was in the States. And I told my dad, I was like, hey, tell my cousin, like, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm not going here to like go on vacation. Like I'm here to like be in the culture. Like I want to eat what they eat. I want to sleep. I slept on his floor. Yep. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to feel like I was a Thai person. Right. And that's what I did. And through a series of events, I landed a job at an elephant sanctuary. So I lived with elephants for like 3 months. So basically, long story short, I found this like ad in a magazine for this elephant sanctuary that was, like...
Mind you, me and Nolan have been friends for a minute, and I don't know any of this. None of this.
Yeah. I mean, when do you bring... Oh, yeah, I lived with elephants in Thailand. And so, I did that for 3 months and basically found an ad in a magazine for this elephant sanctuary. And... just shot them like a cold email. I was like, hey, I am living in Thailand. I'm a photographer. I, want to work. I want to like I'm just at this point in my life, I just want to experience everything. And it was like 3 weeks. They emailed me back and like, hey, let's do like a call. We're interested in what you have to say.
They probably had to translate the email.
Well, no, it's actually like a British woman that owns. Oh, yeah. So she spoke English. Yeah. We did like a call. I did a call with her manager, and they were like, okay, well, we'll make arrangements for you to get here. And then we have like a 3-month internship program where they didn't like pay me, but they fed me, put me in housing. Yeah. And then they would have like guests come to the elephant sanctuary to like do, tours and see elephants and stuff like that. And basically, like, whatever money I made was just tips from the guests.
And they put, like they deck out the elephants there, kind of, right?
Well, that's... Or if it's, like, ceremonial, yes.
Okay, cool, yeah.
So, like, the royal Thai family...
Like, their parades are with, like, elephants.
If it's like a government parade. Yeah. Like, a royal parade, they'll, like, paint the elephants, put them in, like, these really fancy, like, garbs and whatever. But, this... Not to get too deep into it, but, like, Thailand has a very... notorious like thing with elephants because of like brutality and animal abuse and stuff like that. And so this elephant sanctuary was very like ethical and moral, and we didn't do elephant rides and we didn't do all these other things that normal people would have done because it's actually not safe for people and not safe for the elephants. So I learned a lot about elephants.
That's sick.
Going from like having zero knowledge to like at the end of my 3 months, I was an elephant tour guide.
That's so sick.
Isn't that crazy? I've never said that out loud. I'm like, oh wow, that's true, actually.
Well, you could bring it to Nashville.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Imagine walking down Broadway on top of an elephant.
Dude, there is an elephant sanctuary in Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Is it like by the zoo or is it like totally?
It's like separate? Off in the it's The owner of that elephant sanctuary in Tennessee is friends with the owner that I worked for.
Oh,
they know each other.
What?
Yeah, because there's like a whole elephant like world.
Yeah.
But I've never been to the one in Tennessee, but I know like you can't. Again, they're also like very ethical. Yeah. Very more like you can't just go and visit elephants. Like they have their, they have like 1,000 acres in Tennessee where they just like let the elephants live. Yeah. Because it is truly like a sanctuary. Like they don't want the elephants to be disturbed.
No, like I know, like obviously, like, I work at Lucchese and stuff, and like there's laws with that stuff where like certain animals like elephants and hippos, like they have to naturally pass away before like any companies or stuff can bid on them or anything like that.
And that the reason for that is that elephants are so crucial to like ecosystems, right? Like especially in Africa, like when an elephant dies, it feeds like 40 plus species. Oh yeah, I bet. And so when you think about it that way, like oh shit, like when an elephant dies, it does all these things for other animals. Right. It's a circle of life, Lion King, Hakuna Matata.
Well, it's kind of like I always looked at elephants like the piece of the wild. Like they can fucking stomp on a lion. Yeah. But they're not I wouldn't say they're as aggressive as a lion. No, they're like
they're very protective and very family oriented. And dude, like it's so crazy. Like elephants are insane because elephants actually create like shrubbery and berry, like things that other animals eat. Damn. The fact that elephants, they weigh so much, so their footprints are like, they go deep. Yeah. They shit.
And then it's like
they're planting.
It's fertilizing.
Yeah, they're literally planting and fertilizing food for other animals.
That's wild.
Dude, it's crazy. Once you like get it, like when you start really like researching elephants, it's insane. Crazy.
So then like, are there animals in like? Because I guess it's different for Africa, but like in like Thailand, are there animals that could like take down a elephant in Thailand? Like
not really in Thailand. Like if you go really Southeast Asia, there's like tigers and shit that could, but that like so there's two different species of elephants: Asian elephants and African elephants. Yeah. I've never seen an African elephant. All the Asian elephants, though, I was around. Obviously, we're in Thailand, and like. The biggest predator to Asian elephants is humans. And so, because elephants were used, like, back in the day, elephants were used for logging. Right. And so they would literally put chains around the neck, like chop down trees, and elephants would drag trees out of the jungle. And then, tourism became a thing. And elephants started getting, treated as like entertainment for white people. And so it's just like, which is not good for the elephants. No, and like, and so they become malnourished. They become like, just their health is declining rapidly because they're not supposed to be walking on pavement. They're not supposed to be like, elephants are meant to travel like 40 miles a day. Damn. And the fact that they can't do that and they're chained up and like, that's just terrible for them. And so, there was no, other than like just like natural disease, there was no real predators of the elephants until like humans came along.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Obviously I get that. So like, I guess what's the difference? Do like they have tusks and stuff or no? Like
Asian elephants do have tusks, but only the male ones.
Got it.
And they're just like
that's something
small.
I would have never known.
Yeah. See, like, and like compared to African elephants, Asian elephants are just smaller. Okay. But everything else is pretty much the same. And maybe African elephants, I think only males have tusks as well. I don't really know as much about African elephants. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. There's like a whole, and that's the thing. Like, once you like get into the elephant world, dude, there's like conferences of like world leaders of like, dude, people from all over the world come to these like conferences about elephants and like how to save elephants and elephant conservation and like, dude, it's a big world.
Yeah. No, and the weirdest way, I feel like that's like the one animal that's focused on the most.
Yeah, for sure. Because again, it has the biggest impact on the environment.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool that like us as humans can realize that,
Right. Yeah. At least we're like acknowledging like, oh yeah, we actually kind of need these animals. Yeah. And we need to save them. And so like, I get it. But
wildlife, it's a crazy thing.
Yeah. I'll never tell the owner of the elephant sanctuary that I worked for that I might be working at Lucchese and like I might be selling elephant boots because she would hate.
Well, if it makes you feel better, like truly, we can only sell so many elephant boots a year just because we have to wait till they naturally die. Now.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I think like customers come in and they say like back in the 80s and 90s, like you get elephant boots like
really,
that. But since the 2000s hits, they put out these laws and all these other things. Like you can't do sea turtle boots anymore. Like that, like the sea, like I guess sea turtle used to be like a big thing back in the day and stuff like that. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. What was like? This is gonna sound so bad going from top to top. Your favorite food in Thailand?
Yeah. Elephant. No, I'm just kidding.
The trunk or the ass?
Yeah. Random fact: elephants have 40,000 muscles in their trunk alone.
What the?
Dude, it's crazy. But anyways, so favorite food in Thailand. I mean, okay, so Thai food, it's all street food.
Right.
If you want good Thai food, it's street food. You don't go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
You pick it up off a sidewalk and you just kind of do your thing. It's cheap, it's good, it's trustworthy, and it separates into two different categories. So
like, is it like chicken pad Thai or is that Americanized shit? Like,
there is pad Thai.
Yeah.
Pad Thai is American, and then there's like more. So again, like there's two different categories of Thai food: rice dishes and noodle dishes.
Got it.
So rice dishes, my favorite one is Packan, which is just like kind of Thai basil, like kind of spicy. It has like the minced pork meat. You have to get pork.
Yeah.
If you don't get pork, it's not real Thai.
Okay.
Even for like.
See, that's good to know. See,
Because they actually like in Thailand, they don't really. There's chicken available.
Yeah.
But nobody eats chicken.
Yeah.
Nobody eats chicken or steak. Everyone eats pork.
Yeah. When I go to Bite a Bit in East Nashville, I usually get the chicken pad Thai. I'm like, so now I'm a fraud, I guess.
That's a good spot. Yeah. If you start ordering pork, they'll be like, oh. Yeah. So you have to eat pork in either. Yeah, if I'm eating a rice dish, it's the Pagapao pork. If I'm eating a noodle dish, there's a noodle dish called bami.
Okay.
Which is similar to pad Thai but more authentic.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, it's so crazy eating in Thailand. Like you're literally, I have a video like on my phone of like a cart. Yeah. Like people will have like a moped, like a little motorbike, and then attached to it is like a little.
You should edit the video in.
Okay, I'll put it in. I'll put it in right here. In Thailand, I was here, and it's literally like a cart, and it's like on a highway. There's cars driving by, and then people are just like in a line at this little cart, and they're like buying noodles or whatever, like it is, and so it's just so crazy. And like people will set up like little tables and chairs on a sidewalk. And just like have a cart and they'll start serving food and people will just like, dude, lines. Yeah. And like, because that's just what is normal.
Right.
You know? Like if you go eat at a sit down restaurant in Thailand, it's weird.
Yeah. Or like it's like a special occasion type thing or.
Not even that. It's just like, it's tourist.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what it is. And so like tourists do that because tourists are scared of the street food. But the street food is the real stuff.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, insight. I mean, I see all those guys on TikTok, like all the tourists that go there, like they're filming, they're like live streaming, like, oh yeah, we're going to this, and like they're getting like the water from the street cart or whatever, this stuff like that. I'm like, that shit must be good.
Yeah, dude, street food in Thailand is the best, and it's cheap.
Yeah,
like you can get a meal for like a nickel.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's wild. That's so cool. Like. So I'm Italian, and I've been over to Italy and stuff. So kind of like obviously I wasn't there as long as you were in Thailand and stuff, but like just to go see the culture and like it's crazy to see, but also hear how everyone does it different. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're in America, Italy, Thailand, Africa, whatever.
That's the thing about culture. Like every culture is so different, and that's like again, that's why I wanted to go Thailand because I didn't really know anything about the culture, and I wanted to be there for. Longer than a few weeks. I wanted to see the seasons. I wanted to like.
Did you see where like your family came from or whatever?
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, so my grandma was actually, like from a town. I can't remember that. Sukhothai is the name of the town, but it's outside of Pattaya. And dude, Pattaya, I went there. Have you heard about Pattaya?
It better be a Pattaya.
Dude, it's like Ladyboy Central. Okay, so it's just like it's like the Vegas of Thailand.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, dude, because all right, here we go. How much time are we at? 40 minutes. Okay, here's a quick story. All right. So
also, before you start the story, I've also heard there's a few drugs in Thailand.
A lot of drugs. I actually never did drugs in Thailand because I was scared.
Yeah.
But okay, so when I went to Thailand, I was like single. I was like, I wanted to make friends. Yeah. I wanted to date people.
You want to do it?
I wanted to do. Yeah, I was experiencing life.
You were the Thailand person.
Yeah, I was like 25 years old. I'm like, hey.
Embracing the culture, baby.
Yeah, let's fucking rip it right now. And so I had Tinder, and I would like go on dates with these girls that I thought were girls. Dude, one time, I swear to God. Oh my God. Yeah, no, this is 100% true story. I went on a date. Dude, this chick was banging. 10 out of 10. And that's how you know. Yeah. Spoiler alert. If they're too hot, they're a dude.
Yeah.
So...
I
went on a date and like we're talking at the bar, like we're having a good time. Like she is like speaking very broken English, but we're just fucking having like she is all over me, right? And I'm feeling it. I'm like, hey, this is great. I love this. And you know, we start like getting closer and like the hand on the leg, like I'm feeling it, bro. And
it's not a White Lotus straight out.
Yeah, bro, for real. And so we're talking. Luckily, like I never like kissed her or anything, but I kind of like I had like my hand on her leg right here. I don't know if the camera's getting and so and she like took my hand and like moved it up, and I felt her dick, and I was like immediately I was out. I was like, peace out, you know, have a good one, can't do this. And I didn't even pay the bill or anything. I got up and left from the bar. And oh God, I remember
he deserves to pay the bill at that point.
Yeah. He was taking care of me. But yeah, dude, it was crazy. He, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I'm like, yeah, they were hot. And so, but yeah. And so I was like, all right, I need to be a little bit more careful. Maybe I need to ask some more like questions. That was one of like my first dates in Thailand. Dude,
it's crazy what a doctor can do.
Dude, it's insane. Yeah.
No, that's wild, man.
Yeah.
That's so.
It was at a Hooters. It was at a Hooters in Thailand.
Listen, I was thinking some like nice ass hotel bar, fucking espresso martinis or some shit.
I should have known. I should have known when they're like, yeah, let's meet at Hooters. I was like, I was like, oh shit, sounds great to me.
That is. I didn't know they have Hooters in Japan.
Dude. Hooters is everywhere.
So like when you walk, like, do they have like all the massage shops and shit? Like walk up and down the street, the girls are trying to pull you in, that type of shit.
So yeah, in Pattaya, there's a street called Walking Street, and it's literally you walk up and down. That's the name of the street too. You walk up and down, and literally next door. There's like all these bars of just like women hanging out, and what's funny is that they're all like themed, and so like one bar is like. All the girls are dressed up in like little maids outfits. The next bar, they have like race car outfits. The next one, they're all like police outfits. Like it's just so crazy. Funny, And literally, you'll be walking down. I had an interesting experience because I look Thai. Yeah. And so they would like see me walking down and they would think I was like undercover police or something. So I never really got approached. Yeah. But then one night I was out there for some reason and I like made friends with this like tall white Russian guy. Who was, dude, he was just fucking like, oh, we're doing everything tonight. Like, you know, you meet people and like, whatever. I was like, fuck it, let's go. And every single bar that we walk by, girls were just like literally taking his arm and like pulling him. And like, he's like, oh, this happens all the time.
That's so funny.
It was crazy. And so it was fun. I'm pretty sure he probably like, you know, fucked 4 or 5 girls that one night. But, you know, that's just Thailand.
Like it's kind of normal there, right? That's how it is. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's why people go to Thailand.
Yeah.
You go to Thailand to...
Right.
Do that.
That's wild.
Dude, I even heard stories. This never happened to me, swear to God. But there was like a bachelor party that I kind of like ran into at a bar and like they were there having a good time. They were Russian. It's always Russians. The Russians love Thailand, bro. And this was like at the beginning of the night when I like, started talking to them at a bar and they were like, oh yeah, we have this bet going. Like whoever loses has to like fuck a ladyboy. And
that's wild.
I'm like, bro, I could never. That's you guys have fun with that, but that's not for me. That's not in my cards. And so yeah, they were just like they were having. I don't know if it actually happened to one of the guys, but that was like a thing there. That's a thing there.
The Russians are built different, eh?
Dude, yeah, not for me.
No, dude, that's actually so funny because the guys in this White Lotus season, there were 3 guys flirting with these American girls. 3 guys were Russian from Russia. Like,
dude, it's crazy.
Like literally,
Russians love Thailand.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
that's
a real
so
thing.
Cool. So when did you move out of Thailand? Like when did you come back home?
So when I came back home, I was there for a year. I came back like when I was like 26, 27-ish. And that's kind of like really when like I started my own wedding business. Yeah. So I had shot weddings beforehand.
Right.
But like when I came back is when I was like, okay, like I'm gonna have my own. Like before then, I had always like been an assistant or like a second shooter, or like worked under somebody. I even did like photo shoots in Thailand, which was kind of cool, with couples that I would just like find. And then when I came back, I was like, all right, I'm creating an LLC. I'm like making the website. I'm doing everything, and that's kind of when like the real like wedding photography business started. So, even though I had already like shot weddings. Yeah,
and then like so like you do your wedding stuff, you move to Nashville and stuff. Mm-hmm. You just got off tour with with someone.
Yeah.
How do you meet them? Like, how'd you meet them girls?
Yeah. Like, so shout out Lambrini Girls. Love you guys. Lambrini Girls. If you don't know, if you're listening, if you live in Nashville, you don't know who Lambrini Girls are.
Which is kind of cool because
it's crazy.
Outside, of Nashville, they're huge.
They're blowing up in like Europe and everywhere.
Right.
Lambrini Girls are very punk rock, alternative. This duo based out of London, Brighton, UK.
Yep.
They are just like noisy, don't give a fuck, just loud.
The concerts look nuts,
dude.
People are just like bouncing off each other,
like mosh pits, bro. Phoebe, the lead singer, is like jumping into the crowd. She's climbing up on balconies and jumping off them. Like it's insane. And so I moved to Nashville in January of 24. And immediately I was like, all right, I want to get into touring. I've never done it before. I wanted to put my toes in the water. I kind of like found online a touring production company. Mm-hmm. And one of the first, they offered me a gig and it was just a driver.
Right.
And so they're like, oh, well, you're going to be driving this English group is going to be coming to America for the first time.
Right.
And the guy told me, he's like, we want like a real American to do this. So they know, kind of like we want to show these girls like what America's really like. I was like, I'm from fucking South Carolina, bro. I'll show them what America's like. And so we team up, and then once we kind of like I did like an interview with like their team or whatever, and I was like, hey, I'm happy to be. I'm excited to be your driver. I'm excited for this tour, but I'm also a photographer.
Yeah,
like I would love to like come out and like obviously I'm still gonna drive for you, but I want to take photos of your shows. I can be your photographer on this tour, and they loved that, and so they're like, yes. So the production company like paid me to drive, and then the band paid me to do photography. And then we just hit it off. That was July of 24. It was a great time. I really kind of that was my first touring experience. It was in a van. We were roughing it, like it was cool. And then so that was like almost a year ago. They've come back to America once in December, and then now we just got done. They're coming back in September. But yeah, like now it's kind of like, okay, I am their photographer. I'm their American photographer. Yeah. Whenever they hear in America, they're calling me like I'm with them. Like we have a friendship now.
So like such a weird but cool.
Dude, like, it's insane. And honestly, like I grew up listening to like the heavier metal rock stuff. Yeah. And so their music is actually I like it.
Yeah.
And so
which makes it easier.
Yeah. And like and their shows are so fun, and like I'm in the crowd with my camera in the mosh pit, like doing all these cool things and like just getting these cool shots. And it's cool to, again, like kind of going back to, I wanted to work with a smaller artist because I was with them when they had, like 20, 30,000 followers on Instagram, and now they're at like 80. Yeah. And so I'm like with them as they grow, and like they're getting more and more press. My photos are in like Cream magazine, which is like this huge like rock magazine. Like they were in Rolling Stone. Like that's huge.
That's so cool.
And so it's just cool to be with them, and like it's so interesting because I live in Nashville, which is like super country. Like
it's just different.
It's the opposite. It's literally the polar opposite of Nashville. And so it's cool to see both sides and like to work on both sides. But they're great. I love Phoebe and Lily.
That's really cool.
The Lambrini Girls. Yeah, check them out.
You should. I think the next time you do their shows and stuff, I think you should get a bulletproof vest and get 2 GoPros. Put one on your chest and one on your head, and go in the mosh pit.
So there's a photographer there's a photographer videographer that I follow Joshua like 19 is his like handle on Instagram, but he does like he shoots like big rock shows.
Yeah,
like he worked with like crazy bands. I can't name them, but he does like crowd surfing with his camera.
That's it.
And ever since I saw that, I was like, I have to do it at the Lambrini Girls show. But then my balls shrink up and I just can't do it. And I'm like, fuck, I'm scared.
But you realize there's some grown ass dudes in there that are fucking
exactly
6'5", 300 pounds. You're like, well, I'm not gonna go up against them.
I can't do it. One day I will for sure. But yeah, they're cool. They love to have a good time. And it's so funny because we go to like kind of these smaller venues. This actually just happened. We were in a show. I don't even remember where the show was. But I was obviously doing like photography and flash photography. And I was kind of like, do a lot of flash. And the girls post the photo. And in the comments on Instagram, people are like, oh, the flash photography was too much. And like, I wish there was nobody flashing, my face the entire show. And someone commented like, they tagged me in a comment. They were like, how did you like manage flash photography at the show? Because that venue usually doesn't allow it. And I responded and I was like, I'm with the Lambrini Girls. We do whatever the fuck we want.
That's awesome.
And then Phoebe, who runs the Instagram account, she like responded to my comment under the Lambrini Girls account. Yeah. She's like, yeah, we do. And so I'm like, just the fact that we have that kind of relationship, they're like, yeah, we're the Lambrini Girls. We do whatever the fuck we want. If you got a problem with it,
don't hire us.
Yeah, or don't come to the show. Like if you don't want flash photography, stay the fuck at home.
Yeah,
like it's a fucking punk show. Like
that's crazy. Yeah. That's so cool.
Don't be a bitch,
dude. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So obviously you've been in the industry for a second now. Between weddings and music and stuff. What's one of the most valuable things you've learned throughout this few year process?
Yeah. I think, and this is true in weddings, no matter what kind of photographer you are. Having a relationship with your clients is huge. Right. And so like as a photographer, my work is so much better when I work with people that I vibe with.
Or you get, like you understand.
We understand
where
each
they
other.
come from or who they are,
And so like if I'm friends with somebody, it's almost like I want to do better work for you. Right. So like if Nathan calls me or if Connor calls me or Gracie Carroll, like if they call me, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna do 110% because you're my friend. I love you and like I'm going to.
It's also probably a little bit easier on you too.
For sure.
Because you know what they want, but like in the back of your head, like okay, like I don't have to think about it. Right. I don't think twice.
And I also like there's a mutual trust, right? And so they also know what my work is and they trust me. That's why they're calling me. Yeah. And so there's like this like unspoken just like connection of like, okay, we get each other, we're friends, like I trust you, you trust me. Whereas like if I get a call from some rando that likes to talk too much, it's just like we're not on the same page and it's just like we don't have the relationship. And maybe we would if we gave it time, but it's like I'm gonna show up to your gig, you call me randomly, we don't have a relationship.
Well, it's just kind of being hit or miss, it's like you're not gonna use me for every gig. That's fine. Right. That's cool, I get it. That's how Nashville works.
Right. But I'm a backup to you.
But at the same time, like you're looking for a family. You're looking for a family of work.
Right. I want to work with people that I like and that I vibe with. Yes. I want to Nathan is my neighbor. Right. We hang out all the time, even when we're not working. Right. And so I want that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so like having that is just so valuable. And like even when I was doing weddings, like usually an engagement session with a couple, like it's me and a couple, that's our first time hanging out, working together. Like we may have done some calls before then, but like that's the first time of us like meeting.
You don't get how much they buy or how much they're willing to do.
The whole engagement session, we're learning that. We're learning that relationship where I'm trying to check in their vibe. Yeah. And then by the end of it, it's either, oh, let's go get beers and keep hanging out, or okay, nice to meet you guys. I'll see you later. Yeah. Yeah. And that's when I knew like, okay, like I either knew when it came time for the wedding, like, oh, these wedding pictures are gonna be sick, or they're gonna be like, they're mid, it's fine. Like, I'm still gonna do good work, of course, but I'm not gonna put as much heart into it as I would like, oh, like these people are sick. I love these people. Yeah, yeah.
That's tight, man.
It's all about relationships.
So cool. So you got any cool stuff coming up? Working on any cool projects, that you can talk about? I know well, we're about to hit CMA Fest week. So.
I know. Yeah, well, I'm doing some cool stuff with Luke Casey.
Yes.
Thanks for the hookup.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited for that. CMA Fest has come up. The next biggest thing for me is like Lambrini Girls coming back in September. That's huge. It's going to be a really fun, crazy tour. The routing is pretty crazy. We're doing a lot of festivals that are kind of all over the place, but Shaky Knees in Atlanta. We're doing one in like New York, Ohana Fest in California. Like it'll be a fun one.
That's all over the place. That sounds like fun.
So I'm excited to hang out with them again.
Sweet, man. Well, any artist in town, any content creator, influencer, go hit this guy up. He does fantastic work. He's also easy to work with. He's also a good time to work with. You know, he might pop a drink with you. Maybe.
Hell yeah.
Maybe not, you know?
Hell yeah.
But Nolan, my man, I appreciate you helping me out with this podcast.
Absolutely.
This would not be possible without you. Like, seriously.
And I just want to say, I'm proud of you. You've been doing this podcast. You've been killing it. You've been on top of it. You haven't given up in any kind of way. You know, you're pushing, and I'm excited to be on this journey with you.
Well, dude, I can't wait to future endeavors.
Cheers, my man.
Hey, cheers to that. Thank you for being on Podunk Perspective.
Podunk Perspective, baby.